Welcome to The Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
Welcome back. It's so good to have you join me here at The Abundance Journey, because this is where we explore all the different ways abundance shows up for you. And you know me, I know there's a huge connection between abundance and spirituality. Your level of consciousness opens you up to receive much more abundance. And I love to read. I read 4 or 5 books a week. I eat them like popcorn. And every once in a while, I come across a book that is just so profound, that's so full of brilliant concepts and ideas that I have to share it with you. And I recently read a book just like that blew me away. So I'm going to lead you into it a little bit. You've probably heard of the idea of IQ. That stands for intelligence quotient, and it's a measure of somebody's ability to reason. You can think of it as their mental game. And you might also be familiar with the idea of EQ, which is emotional intelligence. That's all about your ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So EQ, emotional intelligence, is all about the emotional game, where intelligence quotient is all about the mental game. But there's this new concept called SQ, spiritual intelligence, and it functions kind of like your soul's compass. It's what links your everyday thoughts to the divine blueprint that created you. Spiritual intelligence is your capacity to connect with a universal consciousness and operate from that connection in your daily life. That's why I like to think of it as the consciousness game, right? So we've got the intelligence game, the mind game, the emotion game, and now the consciousness game. And on today's show, I'm going to share some of the incredible insights that I got around this life-altering idea from a book by Dawson Church called Spiritual Intelligence. And I'm going to share exactly what I'm doing and implementing in my own life, because I think it's incredibly powerful, and it's going to be a real big game changer, not just for me, but for you too. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I'm all about connecting our energy, mine, yours, with the God of your understanding. I call this the divine. So we're going to do 2 key things. We're going to take 3 really long, slow, deep breaths together. And as we breathe in through the nose, think the words I am. And as we breathe out through the mouth, think the word consciousness. I'll remind you when we get to that part. And then after that, I'm going to share an intention. I'm pointing at my heart, my intention. It's how I want to feel and how I choose to show up in the world. It's kind of like an address that I'm typing into a spiritual GPS. The intention tells the divine where we're going and how we're going to feel about it. And so in order to hold that vibration, we're going to be in silence with that intention for 78 seconds. And that gives the divine enough time to tune into our new vibration, our higher vibration of the intention, so that that's what we experience throughout this episode. Now, there are a couple of techniques I invite you to use for the 78 seconds of silence, because we're human beings and we're easily distracted, and it can be really challenging to hold that space. So what I like to do, first thing I do is I'll pick 2 or 3 words out of the intention that just feel expansive and uplifting. It's that high vibration that I'm choosing to adopt now. And I want the divine to hone in on that signal. So I just repeat those 2 or 3 words over and over again to myself to hold that space. And at the same time, I notice what's happening in my body. I might get goosebumps or a rush of heat, or I get an image, a download. Anything like that is just a sign that the divine is ready to play with us. How cool is that? So let's go ahead and get started with our 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out, consciousness. In love and light, we hold the intention that we notice, appreciate, and enjoy even more our connection with universal consciousness, letting it flow through us, guiding us in every moment. So we witness and experience the infinite abundance of creation. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. We give thanks, and so it is. Wow, that was awesome. I was really focused on the infinite abundance of creation, and I just felt this incredible peace, this compassionate peace wave over me. I just, saturated in compassionate peace. It was so beautiful. Now, spiritual intelligence isn't about having spiritual thoughts, okay? It's actually the neurological, emotional, and energetic alignment that you get to receive when your brain, your body, and your soul are all in sync with a consciousness that's much larger than who you are. When we activate abundance at that level of spiritual intelligence, oh my gosh, we're talking bliss, clarity, resilience, and a purpose so strong it moves mountains. Okay. Now, I always like to start by defining something because I want to make sure we're on the same page here. When we're talking about spiritual intelligence, it really is your capacity to connect with the universal consciousness and operate from that connection in your daily life. I refer to this as embodying the divine, right? And you can think about it like that spiritual intelligence is the operating system for your brain. Your brain inside your head is the hardware, and then there's an operating system that is the spiritual intelligence, and then the apps that run on top of that are joy, compassion, gratitude, awe, inner peace. Even IQ and EQ are programs that run on top of spiritual intelligence. So, to all intents and purposes, it's the foundation of everything. I mean, you got to have the hardware, you got to have the brain first, but after that, you really want the spiritual intelligence so you can have everything else. Award-winning author Dawson Church has identified 4 main brain circuits that light up when we're in that space of high spiritual intelligence. The first one is emotion regulation. So you stay centered no matter what. The second one is your attention. Attention, staying present and focused. You're not lost in the past or distracted by thoughts of the future. You're fully present. The third is your selfing control. That's where you're able to quiet all the mind chatter, that I, me, mine, that stuff that's going on. And the fourth is empathy, where you feel a connection to others and to the world. Now, those four circuits, emotion regulation, attention, self-control, and empathy, create the enlightenment network in our brains. And fortunately, I'm really happy that the Enlightenment Network isn't just reserved for gurus and monks who spend years and years, decades, trying to attain this level of inner bliss. No. The Enlightenment Network is actually a biological system, which means it's something we can train ourselves to do. And when we activate it, it turns states of joy into lasting traits of joy. Yeah, I love this. Get this distinction, okay? A state is just a temporary condition that you experience in a specific moment. Like maybe you feel a rush of joy when you see your sweetie and you haven't seen him in a while. But a trait is something that's long-term stable. It's a characteristic that really defines your personality. Without spiritual intelligence, we tend to default into survival mode. The brain wanders towards fear, anxiety, scarcity, and that's not your fault. It's not actually a problem. It's just an ancient biological wiring that's designed to keep you safe. And the good news is you can build on top of that old wiring and replace some of it so that you rewire your brain to experience enlightenment. Spiritual intelligence, when it's not functioning well, your life tends to feel like a grind, right? You start chasing meaning instead of living it. You might feel really disconnected from yourself, disconnected from your purpose, disconnected from the divine, from the God of your understanding. Now, when spiritual intelligence is turned on in full, you enter what scientists call fundamental well-being. Okay? This concept of fundamental well-being is a trait. It's a long-term stable characteristic of feeling connected, whole, and enough. Not someday, but right now, in fact, all the time. You stop seeking, you start being. You make your decisions from a state of inner peace, not panic. And from that inner space, your energy magnetizes opportunities. You show up as the person you were truly designed to be. You start to collaborate with life. So let's take a minute and talk about what spiritual intelligence looks like when it's on the job. What's happening? What's going on? And I always like to start with what's happening when it's missing, because often that's easier to see. And we can all relate to this stuff, okay? When spiritual intelligence is not working as well as it could, you tend to ruminate on past mistakes and you beat yourself up for all the things that you think you did wrong. You chase success, but you feel really hollow inside. There's something missing. And you feel emotions are swinging you like a pendulum. You don't feel in control of your emotions. You feel alone even when you're in a crowd. And you're often stuck in your head, in the mental gunk, instead of in your soul. So that's what's happening when spiritual intelligence is not online. Let's talk about what happens when spiritual intelligence is present and is working fully. That's when you feel calm, centered, and balanced, even in the middle of chaos. Negative thoughts that come up are a really short blip and they very quickly lose their grip. You don't pay a lot of attention to them. You start living with awe instead of anxiety. You trust the unfolding, delighting in the perpetual wonder of life. You stop needing to prove your worth. You just radiate it. It's who you are. It's your presence. Finders are people who live in a state of fundamental well-being. They don't need to become spiritual. They simply remember that they already are spirit. And when that happens, that mind chatter quiets. The love flows. It's the essence of who you are. And the guidance comes. Life gets really, really sweet. So, I'm got a really nice surprise for you. If you've ever wished for a spiritual practice that didn't take years and years of discipline, that you didn't have to sit for silence, like in a Himalayan cave for generations, yeah, I've got an answer for you. It's called EcoMeditation. I love this. I absolutely love this. Dawson Church created EcoMeditation. It is a science-based spiritual technology designed to activate that enlightenment network in your brain really quickly. It blends the most effective techniques from energy psychology, neuroscience, and meditation research into one streamlined, powerfully effective practice. And here's the very best part. I absolutely love it. You don't have to believe in anything. You can be an agnostic. You can believe somebody who doesn't believe in all the spiritual stuff. It's not a matter about believing in anything. All you have to do is do it. And the cool thing is it's available for free on YouTube. Just go into YouTube and do a search on ECO Meditation Dawson Church, DAWSON Church, and use the version that's ad-free. I'm going to make sure that there's a link in the show notes too, because this is super powerful. It's not a traditional meditation with a mantra. It's not breath work alone. It's actually a multi-layered process that engages your mind, your body, and your spirit simultaneously. There are some core steps, and I'm going to simplify them just so I don't take as much time as he takes in the book explaining it all. So the first part is really body relaxation. You start by softening and relaxing key muscle groups, your tongue, your hands, your eyes, your scalp. And these physical cues send immediate signals to the amygdala. That's the brain's fear center. And it tells the amygdala that it's safe to relax. So you get into a beautiful state of deep relaxation. Then you establish heart coherence. You consciously slow your breathing down to 6 seconds for every inhale and 6 seconds for every exhale. Outhale. I make up my own words when I want to. And by doing that, you focus on the area around your heart with those deep, slow breaths, and you generate feelings of gratitude, love, and compassion. And doing that, the deep breathing, focusing on the heart, focusing on gratitude, love, and compassion, it immediately aligns your heartbeat with your brain wave. It literally syncs your physiology to a state called peace. Yeah, your body experiences deep peace. Now, another thing that I absolutely adore about EcoMeditation is Dawson Church has incorporated tapping, emotional freedom technique, so that you release any tension or emotional resistance. That calms your nervous system and clears emotional static, making it much easier to drop into a meditative state. You also use visualization. You bring in an imagery of light, connecting with source energy, imagining it streaming through you and connecting with others. You feel it flowing throughout your body. That visualization is really, really powerful. And you also create observer self-activation. You become a witness of your thoughts. You allow your thoughts to float by like clouds, and that gentle detachment strengthens neural circuits for self-awareness and reduces identification with ego-based stories. Now, one of the things that I found really exciting about spiritual intelligence in that book, Dawson Church dives into measurable neurological changes that happen during eco-meditation. Get this. I mean, the science speaks for itself, okay? When you do eco-meditation, you deactivate the default mode network. That's the part of your brain responsible for mind watering and rumination. When you're in high spiritual intelligence states, that mind chatter goes quiet. Yeah. Ah, so beautiful. Also, eco-meditation increases synchronicity in the brain regions that are linked to compassion and emotional regulation, like the prefrontal cortex and insula. You also experience rapid onset of alpha and theta brainwaves, and those are the relaxed, intuitive frequencies where creativity, healing, and deep connection occur. Even beginners experience significant physiological and psychological changes in just a few sessions. I mean, he didn't just create eco meditation. Dawson Church tested it extensively. There's all kinds of research where they did MRIs and they looked at what was happening in the brain when people are doing eco meditation. They measured before and after. And they did a study with people practicing eco meditation for just 22 minutes a day for 4 days during a workshop. That's it. 22 minutes a day for 4 days. And what happened is their cortisol level dropped by 27%. Cortisol is the stress hormone. So imagine your stress dropping by 27% in just 4 days, 22 minutes a day. Their immune system regulation rose by 113%. Yeah, they can measure those chemicals. Anxiety and depression scores dropped dramatically. And the gene expression for stress and inflammation was turned off, while the genes for immunity and cell repair were turned on. I mean, seriously, think about this. 4 days, and people rewired their body's chemical and genetic expression. Another trial that they did found that key markers of cellular aging rose by 10%, meaning there's some significant anti-aging benefits by doing eco meditation. And the most powerful thing, the thing that really moved me, participants consistently report a sense of peace, of joy, and connection far beyond just feeling good. It's really a remembrance of who they are. It's a realignment with their true nature. And that is where spiritual intelligence becomes tangible. It's not just some mystical concept, it's a lived reality in your brain, in your body, in your energy field. And it can have an incredible impact on your healing. Trauma, stress, and emotional pain aren't just in your head, they're in your nervous system. And that then is expressed through your body. And the problem is trauma, stress, and emotional pain distort your spiritual signal, almost like static on a radio. Eco meditation helps you tune the dial to a clear station so that you hear those whispers of divine guidance. You feel safe in your own body and you live in alignment with your deepest truth. You don't have to wait years for it to work. Just one session can bring relief. A week can change your state, and a few months can transform your entire sense of self, of who you are. When you activate your spiritual intelligence, you're not becoming something new. You're returning to your original design, one of coherence, compassion, and clarity. I love eco meditation. I view this as a bridge. It takes me out of fight or flight into flow, it takes me out of that fragmentation into wholeness. It gets me out of survival and into deeply, divinely thriving. The science backs it up. And that's why I made a personal commitment. I am going to do eco meditation every single day for 1,000 days. That's over 3 years. I started on May 3rd, 2025, and I'm going to keep it up for 1,000 days. Why? Because my spiritual intelligence enlivens, enriches, and empowers my life and the lives of everyone I meet, including you. Our energy's connected. What better way for me to lift you than by lifting myself? So here's what's possible when you commit to this path. Your brain rewires itself for bliss. I mean, I'm all for bliss. I'm happy to do bliss. Fear stops running the show. You become a beacon of safety, love, and joy for yourself and for everyone around you. You embody peace. You don't just preach it. You move out of being a seeker into someone who is a finder. You own these characteristics. It's who you are. It's how you show up, and it resonates through your presence. You're not becoming something new. You're returning to who you've always been. That's why it's so powerful. And that's why I'm so thrilled that there's this book, Spiritual Intelligence, that leads the way. And a simple practice, 22 minutes a day, EcoMeditation. I invite you to join me in using this meditation because I'm all in. Stick around. We're going to activate abundance in just a minute. Oh man, I love talking about this concept of spiritual intelligence because I think this is a game changer for all of us. I really think it's like a light switch. It's before and after. And once you get the concept and you really own what it can do for you and how it changes your brain. I mean, I was a little depressed because at one point in spiritual intelligence, Dawson Church says, you hit 40, I think it's 40, might be 50, and your brain starts to shrink. Ooh. But the cool thing is with EcoMeditation, it starts to increase the areas of your brain that are all about spiritual connection and bliss, and it shrinks the areas of your brain that are all about fear and anxiety and overwhelm. Sign me up. Step one is gratitude. I am so grateful to Dawson Church for doing the research, for writing the book. He really takes spiritual insights, religious insights, psychological insights, and neuroplasticity, all of the neurobiology, and he combines all of that into a simple, easy to understand process that just blows me away. So step one, gratitude, huge gratitude. Step two is something you heard that was maybe a little insight for you. The insight for me is when I do EcoMeditation, I create spiritual coherence for myself. And when I create it for myself, I create it for others. We ripple out, we influence each other. Our energy is connected. It's no mistake here. So it's well worth it for me to do it, not only because I get to become one of these finders who has found spiritual bliss, I get to broadcast spiritual bliss. How can it get even better than this? I'll take it. Thank you. I'll have two of those. So the thing that I want to acknowledge is the idea of spiritual coherence by doing EcoMeditation. Step three is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Ooh. Well, I've been doing spiritual coherence right now. It's been about 3.5 weeks. And already, as I get into the guided meditation, I feel a rush of energy up my spine, and I can feel how my brain is being nourished by even more good chemicals, right? It's all the serotonin, it's all the happy juice, it's all the stuff my body creates that enriches my life. And I feel it in my body, I feel it happening. So I really appreciate that a simple 22-minute practice every day rapidly changes my physiology. It changes my brain. It changes my emotions and how I experience the world. And it enriches my spiritual connection. It's like cleaning off the lens that allows me to receive the spiritual information I've been looking for. Why not get rid of the gunk on the lens? Absolutely. Sign me up. Step 4, activate it. Schedule time to get it done is number 1. I love to do EcoMeditation in the morning, but I'll do it any time of day because it's so powerful. It makes such a difference. And this one, seriously, schedule time to get it done. And by all means, journal because you'll start to notice things coming up that are pure magic. Step 2, activate it with a physical trigger like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe, something like that. Use the Wonder Woman pose, hands on hips, feet shoulder width apart, shoulders back, chin up, and know how incredibly connected you are to the divine. It's worth it to own your power. Yeah, Why not be who you truly are? Embody the divine that you are. The third way to activate abundance is to work with an abundance buddy, accountability buddy. This could be somebody who is also doing EcoMeditation so that they can cheer you on as you start to notice changes in your own life. And they can remind you if you get busy and distracted and you forget to do it, that it really does improve your life. It makes a massive difference. So those are three ways that you can activate abundance around spiritual intelligence. Step 5, celebrate your progress. This is a joyous unfolding of who you truly are. The prize at the center is you. Yeah, you're unwrapping you. You're unwrapping the divinity within you. You get to fall in love with yourself. You get to fall in love with your life. How can it get even better than this? I don't know, but I'm game. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time for the Abundance Journey.
You've been listening to the Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.